do any movement. And, you know, I can't think about, are they going to like this, or is this too hard? You know, because I do challenge people, and I'm just like, well, if it's too hard, I'm just going to break it down step by step, and then step by step, and then we're going to repeat, and it's going to become repetitive, because that's how you learn, you know, and that's how I open people's mindsets. Because when I first come in, I show them the dance after we warm up, and then I look at everybody's faces, and they're like, ooh, like, I'm gonna sit this one out. Like, ooh, you want me to do that? Yes, I want you to do that, and I'm gonna teach it to you step by step. And then at the end, they're completely amazed that they learned the dance.
You are listening to Feminine Will, powered by Sweatseat. I'm Andrea McKee. This is a show about women who choose athleticism, adventure, and bravery every day. Thanks for listening. Hello and welcome back to Feminine Will. I am your host, Andrea McKee, and today on the show I have Key Tibbs, who is a dance fitness instructor. She was a track and field state champion in college and decided after that she wanted to pursue dance, her true love. In this episode, she addresses her social anxiety and what she does to deal with it. And after the interview, she told me that it's through dance that her social anxiety melts away. So even if she's prepping for a dance class, when she starts dancing, it goes away. And that is such a beautiful thing. I also want to apologize in advance for the volume levels. Little fingers touched the knobs ahead of my interview with her, and I didn't get it right before the interview started. So my apologies. I did get it right later on in the interview. So please hang tight and listen closely. You'll enjoy hearing her passion for dance and her story. Give us some background about yourself, how you got to where you are.
Okay, so life is a complete journey. I got here initially by a sports background. I've always been an athlete. I've been a cheerleader. I played softball, and my main sport was track and field. Track and field has taken me many places. It has allowed me to get a full scholarship to a Division I college, which is Arizona State University.
Nice.
But here, I reside in Georgia, and I went to Tri-Cities High School here, and that's where I got my first foundations in track and field. I was a two-time triple jump state champion.
Wow, congrats.
Yes, in Tri-Cities. Within just learning the triple jump in months, I completely fell in love with the event and took off from there. I have the school record at Tri-Cities High School for the triple jump. And besides that, I went to state for 5 other events. So I was multi-talented in the track world. Now from there, full scholarship to Arizona State. I went there my 10th grade year after I transferred from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And now I currently have the school record for the Arizona State school record for the triple jump.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. My school record is still standing, and I still have close relations with one of the jumpers there. So I just encouraging, keep peeking in to see how she's doing, because it is of reach, but currently I still have the school record there, and that is one of the accolades that I still hold on to. Other than that, everything is full circle in life. So outside the track world, in the academic world, I graduated with a 4.0 summa cum laude.
Amazing.
From Arizona
well
State.
Done.
Thank you. With a bachelor in arts concentrating in fashion design.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Now, when I graduated college, I wanted to do everything. I'm full of passions. I love art. I love like design. Yes. I love sports. I love health. And I just drove myself crazy, literally. So I had to really sit down and figure out what exactly I wanted to do in life. And graduating, I had this burst of excitement, and I noticed that I cannot do everything at all at once. And if I do, I have to make it make sense. It has to flow full circle. So it was a complete journey. And the first thing I grabbed onto once I graduated was fitness. That's all I knew. I had my sports background, and I knew everything that I wanted to do was the entrepreneur track. And I always ask myself, like, why? Why am I like this? Why do I choose the harder path? But I know my goals. I know what I want to accomplish. I know what I want to do in life. So I'm just like, okay, I have to keep reminding myself. And along this journey, I've found peace and piecing my passions together little by little. So now they're all starting to flow full circle. And it's about 2.5 years later since I graduated. So I would say just be patient. Life has its wonders. It's 2.5 years later. And when I graduated, I wanted it all figured out right then and there. And I still don't have it figured out, but I'm grateful for the process because it has taught me so much.
Well, I think that you're in a really amazing place, only being 2.5 years graduated from college, and you are the owner of a dance studio. Is that right?
So I'm not the complete owner. Well, I'm not. Let me rearrange it. Okay. I'm not the owner of the dance studio. The dance studio is Dance on Key Studios, and it is owned by Marquita Felton.
Okay.
But I'm a strong believer of signs.
Yes.
I was looking for a place. I was looking for a home for my dance fitness, business, and it just worked out so well. And it just so happens that the dance studio is named Dance on Key, and my name is
maybe
Key.
That's why I was confused, just because I was like, okay, the dance studio is called this, and that's her name. So I just, okay,
yes,
I'm glad you clarified that.
That was a huge coincidence.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, man, if this isn't the right sign, then what is? And my sister, she dances there at the studio. She's in competitive dancing, so it just all flows. So I'm just like, okay, this is the home for my dance class.
Okay, so now I need to know how you got into dance. If you were so into track and field, how did you make that transition? Like, did you dance when you were a kid? Do you just like to dance? Now we know that your sister is a competitive dancer. So how did you make the transition into dance fitness?
It's in my blood. It is
It is
there.
mine too. Dancing is my love.
Yes, when I hear music, it's just time to go. My blood starts boiling, and it's just time to move. I look back and I learn more about myself, every day. And everything that I've done that I loved involves some type of movement, track, triple jump. That's a complete movement event. You have to be really in tune with the movement, with the rhythm. It's just all
just
connected.
Walk us through that triple jump experience.
Yes. So
when you're standing on that line.
Yes. So triple jump is like a cousin to long jump. When I first mention it, I have to tell people about long jump first, because that's how they first, get the picture in their mind. But triple jump is a hop, step, and a jump. And you run back from your approach. So you go through this with your coach, and you get your approach, and you have to hit a board, which is in many competitive tracks, it is the white board on the track. So you get your board, and then your approach has to be so perfect that when you run from 20 steps back, 10 steps, depending on your level of athleticism and how many years you've been doing the triple jump, you have to hit that board. And it's very nerve-wracking, because it's like, I can't remember the exact inches, but I think it's about 8 inches tall. So your average foot is more than 8 inches. So if you pass the board, it's called a foul or a scratch, and it does not count. If you jump behind the board, you're cheating yourself, because those inches that you haven't hit the board, it does not count towards your jump. So that's the very stressful part. That was the stressful part for me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to hit the board. Now, once you hit the board, you have the hop phase. And then after the hop phase is the step phase. Then after the step phase is the jump phase, in which you jump into the pit and land. Now that's the long jump phase. So it's 3 phases to it: a hop, a step, and a jump. And everything has to align perfectly for you to get that jump. It's like there's 3 times for anything to go wrong, but there's also 3 times for everything to go perfectly right, or everything to flow just exactly as planned.
I love
and
that
it
mindset.
all starts off with your approach. So I mean, as I'm explaining it, it sounds like life. Like, you start off with your approach, and then all the steps can either go one way or the other, but you just keep pushing. Because if I mess up on phase 1, I'm not going to hop out of my jump. I'm going to keep going, because I have to go back to my coach, and we have to figure out, okay, what did I do wrong, to fix in order to go on to jump number 2. And in championship, mindset, when that jump needs to be counted, is like, okay, let's figure this out, because I have to be able to get into finals, or I want to get in place number 1. I want to win. So what do we have to do to figure this out? So it's just,
So it's almost like reverse engineering the process. And
yes. And, track has done so much for me mindset wise. When I'm faced with some battles in life, I'm just like, okay, it doesn't hit me as hard mentally, because I've, work these things out in a similar platform that I'm able to transfer over to life. So yeah, it's just wonderful.
And so how does that then translate into dance?
So
we talked about how,
yes,
the movement and
yes, with dance. Okay. I totally got into the triple jump.
No, I wanted you to explain the experience, and you totally did that. So
that transfers over to dance with movement and rhythm. Ever since I was little, I grew up in New York, and my family has
New York City
and Brooklyn.
Okay, cool.
So I'm gonna change that, because everybody always gets on my head when I say I grew up in New York. I was born in New York. My family is from New York, but I'm raised in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yes. So I have a Caribbean background, and, we would always dance. And my family was the type, when they put on a song, they would be like, do your dance, do your dance. So I would be this shy little girl, and I would come out and kill it on the dance floor for like 5 seconds and run back to the room. But yeah, it's always been in my blood. And then I just always been dancing. When I got to high school, I was a cheerleader. So I got to work on my movement there with cheerleading. Everything's tight. It has to be precise.
So once you graduated, how did you kind of get into like entrepreneurship? Because now you're teaching dance.
Yes.
Dance fitness.
Yes.
Which you're amazing at. Like, when I was watching your Instagram, I'm like, I want to dance with her. Because you just have so much fun.
Yes. So you say, how did I get into entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship. Okay. When I graduated, I jumped straight into entrepreneurship. I gave the workforce a chance, but then I didn't.
Okay.
I went to work, and I was like, this is not it.
Yeah.
This is not, what I envision myself for the next years. I do not want to retire in corporate America. So I went off to do my own thing. And when we first started, I say fitness was the first thing I grabbed onto, because I wanted to start my own thing. I want to make a name for myself. I want to create a legacy for my family. And I'm currently breaking generational curses. So not many in my family own businesses. Not many know about the business life. So I'm completely learning about this through trial and error. And it is completely life-changing. So I jumped straight into entrepreneurship, and everything that I want to do, even in the art world, I have to create it from the ground up. And I always ask myself, like, Key, why do you take the hardest path? Like, why do you do this?
I ask myself that a lot too.
Like, I can have a set schedule, just go to work from 9 to 5, come home, you know, cook dinner, take a shower, go to sleep. But instead, you choose this route that you have to completely just really be in it to win it. So I always ask myself that, but then I also tell myself I have goals and I know what I want to accomplish, and what I want is bigger than a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And I can't work somewhere that doesn't have my vision in mind. I'm a creator. I'm a designer. So I'm completely creating my lifestyle as an artist. You know, art is so much bigger, and I'm just like, okay, I'm completely building my lifestyle, you know, little by little. So my entrepreneurship journey is very crazy within this past 2.5 years, you know. And I have so much longer to go, and everything that I want to do is entrepreneurship. And that's where I talk about slowly making my passions connect and making it flow full circle. So how I got into my dance fitness, I love dance, and there comes a time in your life where you're like, okay, you know, something's tapping you on your shoulder. You have to listen to that tap. So I'm always recording on my phone. I'm always dancing. And I know
like
some
recording
people,
you dancing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would just set my tripod up, put on a song, and just dance.
Yes.
And I would just put it on my story. And I'm just like,
I do that too.
Yeah.
Like on my personal page.
Yes. And I'm just like, I know these people are just like, she's always dancing. Okay.
But you know what?
Right.
We love it. Yeah, it's great.
I'm always dancing. I'm going to turn this into a business and do what I love, and, you know, really get the profit, the love, the learning curve from what I love, you know. Why not do that? But it does take an experience. It takes a lot of figuring out, where am I going to start? Who's my market? You know, it takes a lot of figuring out. So how I got here, I love to dance. I love fitness, and my dance is very energetic. You have to, so in my dance fitness class, I say, bring that energy. You have to bring that energy, you know, and you can't come in dancing lightly, because my moves aren't lightly. So if you do it lightly, it's going to look wrong, even though you're doing it right. So if we go down and we break it down, you have to break it down. Unless it's going to look totally wrong. So it's just all about, I don't know, it's just crazy to explain, but it's all about bringing that energy and coming forward with it. And when I sit down and create my dance pieces, I'm like, okay, because it's hard for you not to get inside your head. So I'm just like, all right, it's time for me to create, you know, what song? And that drives me crazy. I'm just like, what song for this week? So I'm like, going
and you're like,
through,
just choose one.
Yeah, I'm just like, just choose it, you know, because if they're truly coming to support me, they don't care what song.
Right.
They, you know, they just want to be there, getting their workout in, their dance, you know, having a good time, forgetting about life within that 60 minutes. Actually, it's 75, hour and 15.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I'm just like, okay, just pick the song. And then I start thinking, no. And then I sit there for wasting minutes trying to pick a song. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I know. That's something that I feel like I've gotten better at over the years. It's just like, you know what? Just decide, and then come back later and change it, or do something different next week, or learn from what happened. I used to just, and I still do sometimes. I mean, I think we all do. We like spend unnecessary time on things that we're like, oh, why didn't I just do it and just be done with it and move on with life? Yeah,
that's what I have to learn. Don't ponder on something, you know. And I constantly meet people as just like, just do it, you know, like Nike, like do it. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then when I leave, I just start, my mind, you know, just starts. So it's just like, okay, so I'm working on being firm on my decisions. You know, whatever comes to mind first, pick it. Don't think what if, don't do a second choice. Whatever's first, just do it. And usually my first choice is the best choice. Yeah. But if I sit back and decide on a backup and what if the people don't like it? Oh, it's too fast. Oh, this, oh, that. It's just not going to work out. And then I'm going to waste all of the time that I could be using creating choreography on time wasted choosing the songs.
I think it's so good that you recognize it, because the first step in making changes is always recognizing it. I love that you said that if you just go with your first impression, that's usually right. And even if it wasn't right, quote unquote, it's still going to be fine. And it's always something that you can either tweak later or, learn from. So I love that you brought that out as like, this is something that you recognize and you're working on, because we all have things we're working on.
Yes. I mean, it's excuse me. It's crazy because we're in the world of social media. So on social media, if you want to do something, this is the perfect time to do it, because social media is so powerful. Mm-hmm. But also, it can brainwash people. People can put up things to make them seem nice and pretty, and it can make entrepreneurship seem so easy, which it is not. Right. And I see the posts all the time, people post things, they make it seem easy, but it's not. Because people don't post their failures. Right, I don't know what it is about human beings, but we don't post our failures. Excuse me. We don't post our failures. We post our success. Hey, look, I made it to this level. Hey, look, I'm doing this. I accomplished this. But we don't really post what it took to get there. Yeah. And it's not everybody. Like, a lot of people, they post their journeys, athletes, big time people who've had a story. They give up that sense of pride and say, hey, I'm not perfect. This took a lot of work. This took a lot of endurance, perseverance, a lot of prayer. There are a lot of people, but then there are people who just make it look nice. And it's not nice. Yeah. And that's what I'm working on myself, because I've had a lot of accolades, but it has not been easy. Even in my life's journey, it has not been easy. And I'm working on becoming more transparent. And I'm a huge introvert, so that is extremely hard. I'm working through social anxiety, so that is extremely harder.
Well, you're doing fantastic today. Amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, I would have never known that.
Yeah, I mean, because I know how to, it's a switch. I know how to turn it on, turn it off. As an athlete, I know how to get ready. I'm on the runway, turn on that beast mode. It's a switch, and I've been switching all my life. Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, at a certain time, that switch where I switch back, it has to be transparent. I can no longer hide behind a switch, be like, okay, it's time to buckle in. I have to be able to be transparent and truthful, and not saying that I'm dishonest, but I have to be truthful. Like, more people may be facing social anxiety in the industry. If I come out and I say, hey, I've accomplished all these things, but I've been battling social anxiety. And I'm currently overcoming it. Someone else may feel comfortable because, mental health, it's a lot of time frowned upon. No one wants to talk about that. It's like a bad thing. You don't want to feel less than. And it's not even about feeling less than.
But we think that it is.
Yes.
Yeah, because we think we're alone in the journey. And we're afraid of people thinking that we're weak. And that's not it. I think it's really powerful that you're sharing this right now. And I'm sure there are listeners out there who experience the exact same thing. And I would love to know if you're willing to go into a little bit more of, like, what is it like for you?
Okay, social anxiety. Well, I have anxiety in general. Now that I am working through, but social anxiety is the one that's the most hard to work with because of my industry. Everything that I want to do, I have to be social. I run a dance fitness class. I have to be social. I'm a personal trainer. I have to be social. I have a travel business. I have to get out and be social. And then I come back to that question, Key, why? Like, I can be behind a desk and just work all day, not talk to anybody. But that's not the lifestyle I want to live. So it's very hard. And I've came to a part in my life where I'm like, okay, if I want to get to the next part of my life, I have to sit down and deal with this. I have to figure it out. No more hiding. No more acting like this is okay, that I'm fine. You know, because in reality, I'm not, you know, and not saying I'm not, you know, I'm bad or whatever. I'm not fine, you know.
Yeah.
When I get in those social settings, and you know, this is me. I'm an introvert. I feel uncomfortable, you know, and when I have to speak, I do what I have to do. I turn on my professionalism, and no one would ever know. And inside, I'm like burning inside because I'm feeling so uncomfortable. I'm worrying about what they're thinking, what they're saying. Like, oh my gosh, like, am I making the wrong move? Like, whoo, I want the conversation to be over. Like, oh,
how are you feeling right now?
Right now, I'm fine.
Okay.
Because this is a part of my journey. I am going to start becoming more transparent. So just me dedicating that goal to myself, it is a big plus. So right now, I feel like this is one of my purposes to talk about this. And because I know other people are experiencing the same things, and they're just waiting on that team, that family, be like, okay, I'm not in this alone. You know, because a long time I didn't know what it was. I'm just like, oh my gosh, oh, this is too much people time, you know.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to, you know, go get some water. I would have to go back. I would have to leave to get refreshed.
Okay, that was my next question is, what do you do to kind of recharge from these experiences, the ones that kind of make you feel uncomfortable?
I get uncomfortable so easily, and you know, I'm still figuring it out. You know, I would, if I had even with people, if we had a girls' night and it's just too much people time, I would have to leave and, you know, go to the bathroom, even though I don't have to use the bathroom. It's just so silly. Like, you know, if I
even
had a
like
gathering,
with your best girlfriends.
Oh no, that's fine.
Oh, okay, because you know, like, yeah, okay. But if it's like if it's not your best girlfriends, like your family members, like the people who are the closest to you, then it is that uncomfortable feeling.
Let me break that down. So I'm very selective on who gets to know me and who I get to know.
Yes, which I think is very reasonable. Yes.
And if I don't know someone that well, I'm an observer. So my brain is going crazy. Like, okay, you know, does that person have good energy? Does that person have bad energy?
Yeah.
You know, is that a good person? You know, oh, they're too loud, or oh, you know, I sent something a little funny. That person may be shady. You know, I'm doing all of this while sitting quiet, you know. And so if there's multiple people around, I'm just looking at everybody, you know, and it just drives me crazy. So, like a little analyzer. But yes, I would walk away and get recharged. And the way that I most deal with it, I just stay quiet, you know. And there's times where I want to come in the conversation, but I don't. And then I'm sitting there in my head and I'm just like, oh, you know, that would have been a perfect time to say this or that. And that's where it comes in with my business, you know. Oh, that would be a perfect time to introduce this person to my business, but I didn't, you know. So I faced that ongoing thing with introducing people to my many businesses. And since I have more than one, I'm sitting down like, oh, like I can introduce them to this business and this business as well. So I'm like trying to figure it out in my head, how am I going to do it? And then that person just walks by. And I'm just like, oh, that's an opportunity missed. But I'm glad I can talk about this now, you know, and it's so funny when I explain what's going on in my head. But there's many ways that I try to cope with it. And nowadays I know what it is. I know it's social anxiety. In the past, I didn't know. So I didn't even know how to combat it. Now I know. Now I know when I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, how am I going to deal with this? You know?
Yeah.
And I do. I figure it out. And I still get that burning uncomfortableness inside. But now I'm working towards figuring out, working to it, and just getting better, you know? And since I've, admitted and found out what it was, in that little bit of time, I've made so much change. So
good. Like what?
Yeah, like I can easily have like conversations. Not saying that I couldn't before. But when I get that sense of uncomfortableness, I'm able to work through it instead of, cutting the conversation short and be like, oh, okay. Because I used to do that a lot. Like when there was a good conversation, because a lot of people are attracted to my energy. They see what I've accomplished and they see what I've done. They see what I'm doing. And then when they meet me in person, they want to see me in person, see that energy. And if I don't know them, I'm battling with, okay, like, who are you? And, I'm trying to figure out their energy, and, you might be in my personal space. But now, because I had a friend and he told me, a lot of people are attracted to your energy, your sunshine. And then when they meet you, you close it off. And then I was just like, okay, that sounds tragic. Because if somebody really wants to meet me and get to know me, and I close that door and they'd be like, well, man, this isn't the person, that I thought she was, which I am. I am that beautiful person.
You are.
But I've just went through like, if I don't know you, you're not going to get to know me type phase. And that's totally wrong. So I'm working through, allowing others get to know me. If I feel that is right at the right time.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Just your experience with social anxiety. I think it's really powerful to share those kinds of experiences and to really get vulnerable with people on that. I want to kind of shift gears again to what it's like in one of your dance classes. And how do you learn where do you learn your choreography?
So,
or do you just make,
I make it. When I make my choreography, I'm in an artist mindset. So I'm just like, I'm creating from self.
Okay.
And then,
so totally from you.
Yes. And then of course I also have those outside motivations where, I create from motivation, especially if it's a certain dance genre or a certain music style. I would try to put some of those moves inside of the dance. So as I'm on this journey with my dance fitness class, it's like, okay, this is becoming educational, because not only are they coming to dance and get a good workout in, they get to learn different styles of dance and pair them with the different genres and the different music types. So when we start, I'll say, okay, hey guys, today we're focusing on this style of dance, and this style of dance usually has this main move. So then we're doing it and everybody's trying to figure it out. By the end of the class, everyone pretty much has it down pack. So I create from self, and I noticed that I like to have my mind clear when I create, because if I create and I have all these different things on my mind, it's not going to go well. And then I'm going to start having these pauses and these brain freezes, like, what next? And I have those what next moments all the time. And it's just like, Key, like, this is movement. Move. Do any movement. And I can't think about, are they going to like this, or is this too hard? Because I do challenge people, and I'm just like, well, if it's too hard, I'm just going to break it down step by step, and then step by step, and then we're going to repeat, and it's going to become repetitive, because that's how you learn, and that's how I open people's mindsets. Because when I first come in, I show them the dance after we warm up, and then I look at everybody's faces, and they're like, ooh, like, I'm gonna sit this one out. Like, ooh, You want me to do that? Yes, I want you to do that. And I'm going to teach it to you step by step. And then at the end, they're completely amazed that they learned the dance. So yeah, I create from self and inspiration and motivation. Sit in the mirror, I like to turn on a song and I play around for like 10 minutes, just dancing, acting silly, getting it all out. And then I'm just like, okay, all right, it's time to turn on that song that I've chosen, that I spent 10 minutes, 20 minutes trying to figure out. It's time to put on that song. Okay, let's do the first move, second move. And then as I'm in there, because I create by myself, as I'm in there, I say, okay, what flows next? I play off of the music words. I play off of the beats. I play off of anything that I can kind of make poetic. I play off into it when I get stuck. So I'm like, okay, that can be a gateway to a next move. If they're talking about I'm going up, maybe we'll put our hands up and jump up. It's so poetic. And, dance and music is just so powerful. You can dive into it so much. You can intersect it, dissect it, and you can interpret it any way you want to. So when I create, I just like to clear my mind, bring it from self. And when I come to class, they're experiencing my creation process. And they probably don't think about it that thoroughly. They're just like, I'm here learning this choreography, but they're learning what I spent that time creating, and they're recreating that within the group.
Yeah. And so one of your classes is about an hour and 15 minutes. And how long do you usually make your choreography?
So that took a lot of figuring out. I keep going back to this entrepreneurship journey. It takes a lot of figuring out because it takes time to actually teach the choreography. So that takes up a lot of time. Then we have to practice it. And before we know it, time has passed. So I had to do kind of like a data. I'm like, okay, well, class ran over on this certain time. Class ran over again. Like, what am I doing? Like, why does class keep running over? Because I also have to be respectable of the studio owner's time, because it's a rental. I'm only there for that short amount of time. If I keep running over, I'm not applying to the agreement of the contract. So I'm like, okay, well, I have to make the choreo shorter. So I started out with 1 minute, and 1 minute was making the time go over. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to create choreography for 45 seconds. So I tried that, and it started to work better. And a lot of things do go into play. How difficult is it? How fast is the choreography? Does it have a lot of parts? Are we exercising hardcore? So it's a lot of puzzles that go into making the choreography and figuring out how much time is this choreography going to be to make it fit within the time that I have in this studio for this class. So it's just a lot of figuring out.
Yeah. And it's good that I think that in the process of figuring it out, we recognize, okay, this is working well, this isn't working well, and then we iterate and make the changes that we need to. And it sounds like you've been doing a lot of figuring it out, which is awesome, because that in and of itself is creation. Who do you think has been a big part of your dance fitness instructing journey? Like, is there anybody that you kind of have looked to or that you think of as part of your inspiration?
Yes. My coach, Shanita Davis, and now is Shanita Granberry. She was my cheerleading coach at Tri-Cities High School, and she was also my track coach. She is like a second mom to me. She took me under her wing. Like, we go way back, and even when I went off to college, she was still a part of my journey. So I get a lot of my inspiration from her. She is a strong, tough, persevering, non-fearing woman. And the fact that she was able to show me so much love and attention and guiding me the way to certain things, I looked up to her. She was motivating to me. So in the cheerleading world, she has her own style. And if you were a cheerleader with her or a dancer, Coach Davis. But it was just so different, so unique. Everything she wanted it right. And it just was just so eye-opening, like, okay, let's do this. The way she wanted to count things off, the different sound movements, her attitude, her swag, it just was like, okay, I'm rocking with this. And then now when I'm in my dance fitness class, I'm like, oh my gosh, I sound like Coach Davis, or oh my gosh, where did I hear this from? Oh, I heard it from Coach Davis, and I mimic some of those moves, and I say some of the things. I have some of that swag I didn't even know I had, but it all came from her, that learning style when I was a cheerleader. And it comes out, when I pull out my inner diva in dance class, I'm like, all right, y'all, let's go. Like, it comes from her. And then also my mom is so full of energy. Like, every time she comes out to my events, people are like, oh my gosh, your mom was so fun. And oh my gosh, your mom has all the energy. And, of course, I can't directly notice it because it's my mom. But I'm just like, Ma, you need to start charging people for your energy. Like, people are always coming up to me, like, talking about your energy. So I'm just like, Ma, like, whatever you're doing, okay, because she'll come out and she will bring that energy, and energy is transferable. So then it'll go on to someone else, and then someone else, gets energized. And then before you know it, everybody in the class is like, okay, let's do this. So I love when my mom comes out to class, she just brings that extra burst of energy, that extra excitement. Even if she's not doing the move right, she's still there, just holding on, keeping everybody energized. I have a part in my class where I say, bring that energy. She's the first person to burst out some type of noise, something. And I'm just looking, I was like, oh, okay, that's my mom, But yes, so my mom and my coach.
One thing that I have often thought about is how growing up, I can literally think back to very specific people through almost every year of my life to who I looked to for things that I liked and wanted to do. So I remember being like more shy in middle school and high school, and there were very specific people that I knew that I was like, I want to be like them. I want to be outgoing like them. And it was by trying to emulate certain things that I saw them doing that I became much more outgoing. And there were things professionally that I can remember, very specific people that it was like, oh, I can do this because they did that. And I could see myself, I feel like I connect really well to them. And I almost feel like I am just a conglomeration of like everyone I knew that I had little tiny things about them that I looked up to and wanted to do. So I wanted to kind of wrap up the interview with this question. If there was anything else you would want women to know so that they can kind of unleash their feminine will, something that you feel like has been a powerful lesson for you, what would that be?
I would say be confident in what you know, be confident in what you do, and be confident in who you are. It's all about confidence. We can't take a step forward if we're not confident. We have to let go of the pride. I am currently stripping the pride away. Pride is a dream killer. Pride is a dream staller. You have to strip away the pride in a lot of things, I don't want to post or say because I feel like, oh, they're going to think about me this way, or, oh, I accomplished this, So strip away the pride, be confident, strip away the pride. You have to go get it. We're women. People are always going to look down upon us or not think that we are great as we can be. But it's your job to say, yes, I am. And I'm going to get it done. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do what I believe in. I'm going to take this first step forward for my 100 steps later. So you have to really dig deep inside. You have to be clear on what you want, because you cannot start something if you are not clear and honest with yourself. You have to take that self-time, that self-reflection, that self-nurturing. If you don't, you're going to be completely lost within your own world. And then how could you encourage or inspire anybody else if you are not clean within? So make sure you're clean within. Make sure you know who you are. Go through that process. If you have to unlearn some things that you have learned that doesn't quite correctly fit within the path of where you're going, well, unlearn it and then learn the new things that does. So it's a complete journey. You have to know who you are, figure out yourself, and you have to put yourself on a healthy path.
Thank you for listening today. That was Key Tibbs, dance fitness instructor. By the way, as I was listening and editing, I realized you can hear the birds in the background. So on the day of this interview, it was a beautiful day outside, and we have woods in our backyard. And Key had come up, and I had the door open to the studio just because I was enjoying the fresh air. And I said, I go, wow, can you hear those birds singing? She said, yeah, I love it. And I go, do you want me to leave the door open or close it? Just because it was such a beautiful day. And she was like, I like outside energy. So we left it open, and you can hear those amazing birds singing in the background of the interview. Especially, I could hear it during the last part. So thank you for listening. You can find her at KEY _TIBBS on Instagram. If you haven't had a chance to listen to some of our previous episodes, please go back through and take a look. We have everything from bodybuilding, ultra trail runner, CrossFit, acro yoga, martial arts. And though it's not necessarily about what they're doing, even though that's super interesting, it's really about the courage and bravery that they show in the things that they are pursuing and the way that they are making their lives into what they want it to be. So please check out our previous episodes and share them with a friend. If there is a nugget that really speaks to you and you think of a friend and you think, wow, I think so-and-so would really appreciate hearing that, then just share it with them. Also, please write us a review. We would love to hear what you guys think of our show. And this show is produced by me, and all the music in it is my original music under the name Andrea Belita, Belita, if you ever want to check out my music. And this podcast is sponsored by Sweatseat, which is a vehicle seat cover designed and developed by me. It's a patent pending product. It's super lightweight, compact enough to fit in your car door under your seat so you don't have to see it when you're not using it. And you can just throw it in the washing machine when you're done. It is my favorite seat cover. I looked when I was trying to find a seat cover. When my husband and I run, we get sweaty from our head to our toes, and we just wanted something. I just wanted something that was super easy. No clips, snaps or buckles, like just something that I could slip on, slip off, and throw in the wash machine. And so I invented it because I couldn't find anything out there that was this compact and this small and this lightweight. Everything was kind of bulky, or you have to use a hose to, wash it off. I felt like every seat cover was for men, except for the one that I found that was kind of feminine. It was feminine, but it was basically like a towel. So there wasn't really any waterproofing happening. And you know what happens with a towel? Your sweat goes right through. So I just invented it myself, and worked on iterating the product over about a 7-month period and launched the company end of last September, and opened my online store in October. So please go check it out, sweatseat.com, SWETSEAT. So it's spelled a little different than sweat, just without the A. With summer coming up, it's going to be perfect with swimming, going to the beach, sweating a lot. So go check it out. And I will see you next Monday. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love the community that we're building here and online. Thank you so much.